matter what, and I always try to eat a little bit less each year, but I always end up eating too much. And I feel good when I'm eating, but at the same time, right afterward, you go, oh, blah. Right? So you get kind of this mixed, it's kind of a mixed day. So because of that, on Friday, so that's on Thursday, on Friday, we had our Friday night workout at church. So we got to get a group of people and we'll watch a video or something and we work out. And I did terrible. I felt like, oh, I'm so out of shape. I'm following, I'm like, I think I'm like the oldest one there. And the younger people are like, oh, they're moving pretty good. I can do it, I can do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. Oh, I'm dying. But it was good. And, as we work out, one of the things is that I catch myself not working out like I should. Like, they'll be doing jumping jacks, and they'll be like jumping fast and jumping high, and arms are going up high, right? And I'm like jumping like 3 inches, and my arms are going like this, right? And I think it's just kind of human nature to seek out what is easiest to do. So if you know that, even though you know your jumping jack should be like huge and moving your arms, but if you can, your arms are moving like this, right? And that's just kind of how human nature works. The easiest way is what our human nature kind of pulls us to. And I've noticed that if we really want something in our life, we have to make it intentional. It's not enough just to say in our head, oh, I need to go get some exercise. It's not enough to join a gym. And I heard that this is the season of the year in which most people, a lot of people will join gyms, or they will buy a gift to somebody else to join a gym or gym membership, something like that. And the good news to the gym people is that 95% of the people will come for once or for a month and then not come back again. So they get a year's membership of money and people drop out. So it's good news for them, not good news for us. So we have to be kind of human, because of our human nature, we have to be intentional about doing things the right way, doing things that kind of push us. And what do we have to do? In terms of exercise, when we say being intentional, we have to be focused on going to work out. I'm going to go. And once you get there, like this past Friday, we worked out, and I was just talking to Joe, because Joe came for the first time. We just started like 2-3 weeks ago, so it's all new. So you guys are welcome to come on Friday night at 7:45. Joe was saying, are you sore? Joe, I am always sore. Okay, that's just what happens when you go. I am always sore. But even now, I'm actually in a little bit better shape, but I'm still sore. I'm kind of roping HT on this because HT is really out of shape too. I'm out of shape, but HT is really out of shape too. Because we knew we were going to start this in November, HT and I said, okay, hey, let's sneak in a couple of workouts that will actually be in a little bit better shape. Right? So we get a little jump start because, hey, if we're leading this thing, we can't look terrible. We got to look somewhat decent. So we snuck in a couple of workouts. And I remember the first time we worked out, I could not walk for weeks. It felt like I had no joints. I was walking like this, But even after 3 weeks, it still takes me so long to recover. And that's the thing. No matter what kind of intention you may have, the thing is, you have to also get used to it. Because when you do something that is not natural, your body, your spirit, everything about you has to get used to it. And then you kind of have to make it a regular part of your life. Exercising, unless you do it every week, if you do it once a month, you're going to be in pain every single month. Right? Isn't that true? And so, for me, because I said, okay, I'm going to be the person who's kind of leading this activity for the quarter, I have it written into my calendar. 7:45, go start the video. So I go, oh my gosh, I have to go. And it's a part of my lifestyle now. In the same way, with our spirituality, if we want radical change in our life, if we want some kind of a spiritual growth in our life, we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional about what kind of roots we grow. And that's what we're talking about, right? Growing spiritual roots. What kind of roots are we going to go? You see, unlike a real tree, we get to choose the kind of roots that we grow. A natural tree grows what kind of roots? A natural tree grows roots that go into the soil, that goes and reaches into the water and pulls the water to itself. That's a natural tree root. But people, all of us, we get to kind of choose the kind of roots we grow. Think about it. How are you reaching out to God? Are you reaching out to God with roots of gratitude, with roots of faith, with roots of wisdom, which is what we've been talking about so far, okay? The three kinds of roots. Or are you reaching out to God with roots of entitlement? And a lot of us feel entitled with God. We feel that God has to come and serve us. We feel that God has to answer our prayer exactly the way we say it. We feel entitled. And our culture really reinforces that mentality in all of us. Are we growing roots of selfishness, where the prayer is all about what I want and what I deserve? Are we growing roots of disappointment? And we're really good at that too. Oh, why is my life this way? Oh, why can't my wife be this way? Oh, why can't my kids be this way? Oh, why are my parents this way? Woe is me, Spirit. Woe is me, roots. What kind of roots are you growing? It's very easy for us to grow negative roots in our life. It's natural. We're drawn to it. Those roots grow easily in our life. Just sit back, going back to Thanksgiving. It's like Thanksgiving. After you eat like crazy, what's the easiest thing to do? Get to a couch, lean back, right? And just sleep. That's the easiest thing to do. And we tend to do that even with our own spirituality. We want to indulge ourselves. We feel entitled. We want God to answer our prayers, give us everything. And we don't want to do anything except just kind of lay back and make God do it all for us. But what's the right thing to do? What's the healthy thing to do? Did anybody take a walk after their Thanksgiving lunch? Anybody? I love those laughing hands. I took a walk to the couch. I don't know. But the right thing is actually to go exercise, go work it out. How about in our spiritual life? What do we need to be doing? When we say, let's grow spiritual roots, what are we doing about it? Look at what the Bible says. And I love this because it makes us think about how we approach God. James 4:3 says, "You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly, in order to spend what you get on your pleasures." Oh, see, this is a passage that doesn't get covered very much, but it's in there. Just like prayer, when we grow roots that are self-centered and not God-centered, instead of growing spiritual roots, we grow selfish roots. That's what this passage is talking about. And when that happens, even our prayer changes. Even our prayers get selfish. It's about me, it's about what I want, it's about what I should get. And Paul reminds us there, you know what? Your prayers aren't getting answered because you have asked wrongly. What we need in our life are spiritual roots that keep us grounded. We need spiritual roots that keep us connected to God and not served by God. We need spiritual roots that fill our life with significance and meaning. And that's why we've been looking at this passage from Jeremiah, so that we can continually be reminded that we need to reach out to God with spiritual roots. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose shall be like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. It shall not fear when he comes, and its leaves shall stay green. In the year of drought, it is not anxious, and it does not cease to bear fruit. That's what happens when we reach out to God with spiritual roots. Today, I want to challenge you to grow roots of joy. And this is a hard one for many of us. Like I said, too many of us feel entitled. And when you feel entitled, right, the roots that come with entitlement are selfishness. Me, me, me. God, come and serve me. Church should be focusing on my needs. Me, me, me. Right? Those are the kind of roots that come from feeling entitled. And as Christmas is just right around the corner, let's kind of prepare ourselves for the coming of Jesus. And when we reflect on Jesus' life, from the beginning of Jesus' life, he brought joy into the world. And since Christmas, like I said, since Christmas is right around the corner, can you guys think of even any songs that talk about joy? Christmas songs that, what? Joy to the world, right? We even sing about it. Jesus is born. Joy to the world. Somebody's coming. Right? We sing about it. We hear about it. It's about how, even from as a baby, Jesus brought joy to the world. Look at Jesus' life. In his ministry, whenever he came in touch with people, look at the Bible. If you have one of those computer Bibles, look it up and type in the word joy. So many times, when Jesus comes in contact with people, when he teaches them, when he feeds them, when he heals them, the Bible is very explicit in letting us know that the people's lives were filled with great joy. Even on Easter, when Jesus died and he rose, the Bible tells us that the disciples and his followers were filled with great, what do you think? Sadness? Were filled with great joy. They were filled with great joy. And this joy that Jesus brought to everybody begins to really affect and change the people that he was teaching, the people that he came in contact with. So even when Jesus went to heaven and the disciples are doing the ministry now, the Bible once again is very explicit in letting us know that the disciples went out, and when they came back, they brought great news of joy. I love that. And that's why Paul urges the Christians in Philippi, when they're spiritually struggling, and when he writes this letter to the church in Philippi, he himself is going through a huge struggle. He's in jail, he's about to die. He's about to be killed, right? And he's writing this letter to the church in Philippi because he sees their struggle, and he writes to them, and he says in Philippians 4, I can't believe this. Paul, in jail, about to die, writing to another community that is struggling, he says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Wow! How is it possible for a man who is in prison, about to die, writing his, who knows, his last letter, encourages people and puts these words, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. When I read that passage, what I get is this. The quickest way to get out of any kind of funk that you may be in is to begin celebrating your spirituality. And too many of us are in a funk this Christmas. We're getting ready for Christmas, but I don't know, are you getting ready? If you are in a spiritual funk, we've got to begin celebrating our spirituality. Let me ask you, how are you celebrating your spirituality? How are you celebrating who you are as a child of God? You got to think about